Let's go to green now. Home stretch. First
Mm-hmm.
green common is a combat trick. High stride. Single green mana for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains reach until end of turn. Untap it. Yeah. This is
Yeah, I mean,
this is pretty good.
happy to play one of these in almost every green deck, like a
Hmm.
C.
Yep. I would agree with C. These kind of cards always overperform. Long Stalk Brawl is up next. Single green mana for a sorcery. You can gift a tap fish as the gift price. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. Put a +1/+1 counter on the creature you control if the gift was promised. Then those creatures fight. So we've got a Prey Upon variant that can be better than that, than just Prey Upon, but gifting a fish, that's not nothing.
Yeah, I was super low on this card, and then I caught a little bit of. I only caught very little of it, but one of the cards I caught was this on Jason and Julian's set review,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave it a much higher grade than I was anticipating, and so it kind of made me reconsider because obviously they're both excellent players,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that they may be on to something, and that it's not as like I thought it was basically unplayable, and I think it's better than that.
Is the argument here that I can see two arguments for the card. One, just the rate of 1 mana, put a counter on something, fight is very good. Or two, it might be a combo of both, that like you don't care that much about the fish because you can trample over.
Yeah, yeah, their point was more like I basically thought, oh, giving the fish is like so bad here because then it gives them a chump blocker
Mm-hmm.
for your like big creature that you've just made, and which is still all true, but 1 mana hunt the week is a nice way to like either catch up or pull ahead on the board, and
Yeah.
the fish is not going to make up for that swing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this thing might be playable.
Oh, well, I think so too. Yeah, I actually wasn't, even before you started talking up, I wasn't gonna give it like a super low grade or anything.
Okay, because I was starting on like a D for this as of like yesterday.
Right. Yeah, I before you said anything, I was just gonna give it a C, kind of thinking along the same lines, like maybe not in the exact terms you were thinking, but I think this is a card that you are happy to play and happy to gift, like not infrequently. I think you will not be sighing, going like, oh, I have to gift the fish. You're gonna be like, no, this is actually a pretty good exchange. Like I get, like you said, you get to catch up, you get a permanent thing that sticks around.
Okay, I'll still go C minus,
Okay.
but yeah, your C is not as far off as it would have been yesterday.
Also, very nice art, as chat points out. We've got the
Mhm.
rabbit's got like a leak. That's his. He's not a sword. It's a leak. Very cool. Ooh, and this card I like. Sunshower Druid. Single green mana for an O2 frog. When it enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and you gain 1 life.
Yeah, this card's very good. The question, how much do you like it outside of blue green?
Yeah, I don't think a ton, but I think it's playable. I think any green deck that might be a little bit slower, which honestly there might not be that many slow green decks. Like if you just think of the green color pairs, like green red, no, green white, no, green blue, that's the one we just talked about, and green black. Yeah, okay, sure. So 2 out of the 4 color pairs could be a little bit slower.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, if your plan for green white is go wide, starting with a one drop might
true.
be a good way to do
That
that.
is a good point. Yeah. So maybe it's not even that bad there.
But in green blue, this thing is like
Yeah,
amazing.
really nice. Hmm.
Yeah, like I want to give it the green blue grade, the high end grade.
And that's like
And
a
I
C
think,
minus. Oh, sorry, C plus.
yeah, I was gonna say somewhere between C plus and B minus.
Yeah. No, I do. I like this
Uh,
card. I like this card a lot.
So C plus.
Yeah, let's just give it a blanket C plus. I think
Yeah,
most decks will be fine with it, and some decks you can really capitalize on it.
sure.
Cool. Baker's Bane Duo. This is a 2 mana 2/2. Squirrel Raccoon is the duo. When it ETBs, you get a food, and whenever you expend 4, the duo gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Oh look, another raccoon that goes in every green deck.
Unfortunately, this is when I first read the card. I'm like, oh, it gives you the food to expend. No. Food doesn't count for expending. It has to be spells.
Right. Yeah, yeah. But this
But
card, like even if
good.
it didn't have the expend 4 line, it would still be good.
Yeah, totally would. I think this is a solid C.
A C?
You want to give C
Oh,
plus? You want to get higher?
I'm going higher than that.
Whoa. Okay.
Like, isn't this one of the best commons in the set?
You're right, actually. No. You're like I don't know what I was. I was thinking that the expend thing was not that important, but just like randomly making your 2/2 into 3/3. That is good with the make a material. Yeah, but I just came on too low. You're totally right.
Yeah, I have this as like a B minus.
Yep.
Maybe probably a
Yep.
B. Like
I agree with that. I
somewhere in that range. I'm a B. It's like that's really good.
Yeah. No, just very good. I agree. And types, double types, all good stuff. Cash grab, good name, and good art. Man, this set just makes me smile. They did a really good job with the flavor here. 1 and a green for an instant. Mill 4 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you control a squirrel or return a squirrel card this way, create a food token.
So there's the mill card we were looking for.
Yep, more
Except
bleed.
it's bleed.
Maybe they do.
Maybe
should play.
Why we need the crystal grottos?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, we gotta cook to make our weak payoffs work.
Card's good though.
In squirrels,
in squirrels, yes. Sorry, in squirrels.
Yeah, I don't think you're playing this outside of squirrels. But it's very good if you get the food, both because it's a food and because you're gonna want to forage with it.
Right. It basically gives you 2 forage, maybe like I guess 2.56 forages, because it gives you the food and 5 cards in your grade. 5 cards in your grade is a lot.
Well, 4 cards in your grade. One of them's coming back.
Sure. One of them's going back to your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, so two forage, and the cards that care about forage are the squirrels, which are the things you're gonna find with this.
Can't play too many of these. Like, it's not the kind of card that like it's a very good glue piece for your deck, but it's not like the more I have, the better your deck is or anything.
I think you play like 3 of these in squirrels.
I was thinking max 2. Yeah, you might be right.
Like, you don't even need to return a squirrel. You just need a squirrel in play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. I think you're right. I think you're going to be making a food off this more times than not. So you want to
like there will be times that this just finds you a land and doesn't get you your food, but that'll be what you need it to do in that spot. Like it's like we've played, anticipates and impulses before. This is just like better. It's an instant.
No pun intended, but there's some rumblings about this being compared to Malevolent Rumble from MH3. Much worse. Like, making a spawn, giving your mana back is a big deal. But card is still good.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I talked you up on Rumble last set review. Yeah. I'm agreeing that this is worse than Rumble, but telling you that this is still very good.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think in a squirrel deck I would give this a C+. Are you willing to go higher?
No, I'm with you there.
Cool. We've got 3 Tree Root Reaver up next. 1 and a green for a 1/3 Mole Druid, no types, and it's simple. It taps to add a mana of any color.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna get up to with this. Like, some of the rares are 2 or 3 colors, so I guess this is a way to do that. Not 100% sure what the shell is for this, but it's a decent rate.
Yeah, I think it's more of a multicolor card rather than a just put it in my green deck and ramp kind of card.
I think you put it in green-red, probably.
Yeah, I don't even know about that, because I feel like most of the times green-red's been a successful deck. It's when there's like good 2-drops that start pressuring. It's less like ramp into a 4-drop and hope that sticks.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure what the home is for this, but it's good at what it does.
Which is fixed for every color.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be overrated, but still pretty solid.
Yeah. I'm going to come in at a C.
Yep. I was going to come in exactly the same grade. C for 3 Tree Root Weaver. Druid of the Spade up next. 2 and a green for a 2/3 Rabbit Druid. And it gets +2/+0 and trample as long as you have a token.
So green, white, and green, black.
Nice.
I like this in green, black.
Yeah. 4/2 trample for 3
and
mana?
Also, like, Cash Grab you can surprise the +2/+0 trample, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's real nice. Okay. Still not like one of the better commons in the set or anything like that, but I would give it like a really solid C.
Yeah, I'm with you on C.
Nice. Ooh, this one's interesting. Again, in the multicolor space, this might be something to consider. Heaped Harvest. 2 and a green for a food artifact. When it enters and when you sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And of course, it's got the food text.
Yeah, so I think this goes in 2 decks. I think it goes in green black because it's forage gas,
Mm-hmm.
and then it also goes in whatever 5 color nonsense we're gonna end up building in week 3.
And I think it's a pretty good version of that kind of effect. Like it's a 2 for
Yeah.
1. It gains you life. Yeah, Gift of Paradise is a good comparison from past sets, and that card was pretty good. Just like anytime you can gain some life back on your card that you spent mana to not do anything that affects the board is a good good exchange. So yeah, I like it for those decks. So if we are, let's just say a Squirrels deck, because we don't know in what capacity a multicolor deck is going to exist in this format. Like a Squirrel C minus maybe.
I'm gonna give this another C. We'll make
Squirrel
it
C?
3 in a row.
Okay, yeah, I'll stick with my C minus.
Okay.
Sticky Tongue Sentinel. This is 2 and a green for a 3/3 frog with reach. When it enters, return up to 1 target permanent you control to its owner's hand.
Another like payoff for the frog deck because I don't think the other decks want this too much,
No.
but it's really good in the frog deck.
Yeah, they've really supported the frog deck, thankfully. Now I've gone through all the cards and really seen all the things, how they interact. I hope people, watching and listening can kind of see the pieces coming together. So I think this card is going to be really good for those kind of decks. Like this is pick up that 1-drop we just talked about, pick up your draw card thing. We even just saw like a few uncommon payoffs that are really, really good to pick up, like the Offspring guy. Not
Yeah.
not the perfect curve or anything, but just being able to do that again.
It's also just got such a like there's a 1-drop that you want that you're gonna get, the Sunshower Druid. There's a
Yep.
2-drop that you want that you're gonna get, which is the Pawn Prophet, and then like this, you're probably gonna get most of these at the table.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have like at common a nice 1, 2, 3 curve. And you can return either the 1-drop or the 2-drop with this, and you're gonna really feel like you're happy with that.
Yeah, I would give it a frog C plus.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Sweet. What's up next?
Next we have the cherry on top. Polywallop. 3 and a green for an instant, but it costs 1 less to cast for each frog you control. Target creature you control deals damage equal to twice its power to target creature you don't control.
Yeah, it's a frog specific card. Like you don't really. Well, it's not terrible in a non-frog deck, but it gets so much better in a frog deck.
You need a frog to make this not embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
2 frogs makes it good. 3 frogs makes it
Busted.
like insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like actually crazy good.
Yeah, yeah.
My Expend, yeah. I don't want my card to be cheaper.
Yeah, that's your Raccoon 4-drop.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ooh, so do we like this better generically than the other fight spell we've seen, correct? Or I guess this is a bite.
Yeah.
The other one's a fight.
Yes.
Yeah. I think a somewhat split grade is warranted. Maybe not on the spreadsheet, but just saying out loud. I think in a frog deck, this is like a B minus, and everywhere else, it's like a C.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, really. It almost feels like they have learned from some of their past experimentation where, this frog bouncing your own stuff deck is a pretty atypical archetype. We don't really see that in Limited very often. And in the past few years when they have diverged from their normal array of, red, black does sacrifice and green, white does counters, they haven't panned out very well. I'm thinking like lore holds, red, whites, and some other, blue, white tapping, and whoa. It really feels like they're like, all right, if we're going to do a thing that's very specific, let's push some of these cards. I think that's what's going on here with blue-green. Cool.
Yeah, it is interesting that the more of your creatures you bounce, the like harder this is to cast for cheap. So there's tension there, but just if you can just get 2 frogs into play, you're good.
Yeah, you're doing it. Next up, we've got Rush Shield Rampager. This is 3 and a green for a 4/4 Raccoon Warrior. It's got Offspring for 2 mana, and this creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or less.
2 or less.
2 or less, yeah.
Yeah, it's just this solid card. I think, like, again, non-Raccoon decks will be fine playing this. Unexciting. Like, it's not even that exciting in the Raccoon deck, but it's fine.
It's a pretty good 6 mana card, too. Just like a 4/4 with a 1/1. I mean, I guess it's not that great. It's just a little understated, but it's fine.
It's like a C-.
Yeah, I give it a C-.
Yep.
Tree Guard Duo. I believe this is our last duo. 3 and a green for a 3/4 Rog Frabbit is what I was gonna say. Frog Rabbit. When it enters, until end of turn, target creature you control gains vigilance and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. Okay.
So this doesn't really seem like a frog card.
No, more of a rabbit card.
Well, I think it's more of a keyword card. Because you want like either like lifelink, menace, flying, or trample, right? And like we saw, or double strike.
Yeah, with the flyer.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any of those keywords, and all of a sudden, this is really extremely threatening.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as not being a great frog card, one of the things when you're considering, this is why we like the 1-drop so much, is that you don't want to be bouncing your 4s that often, right? Like you want to be bouncing your 2s and your 1s, so you can actually recast them in a timely fashion. So like, yeah, sure, sometimes you're gonna bounce in your fried deck, but it's not gonna be some prime target for your bounce stuff.
Well, in green blue though specifically, if you do have the rat looter, that's unblockable.
Ooh, that is nice. Yeah. Okay. I think I would just give Tree Guard Duo a C. It's got the types. Yeah. It's a pretty good into the battlefield effect. Does have a ceiling. Yeah, I like
Expends 4.
Expends 4. Who doesn't love that? Next up is Treetop Sentry. This is 3 and a green for a 2/4 reach. It's a Squirrel Archer. And when it enters, you can forage. If you do, draw a card. Okay.
Giant Spider is really grown up, because if you're hitting the forage on this is great.
It's great. Ooh.
Like any slow green deck, I think, will play this, right?
Yeah, I think there's not going to be... Yeah, like black-green, obviously. Blue-green, I think you're going to do that too.
Yeah, like in blue-green, I'm happy to play like 1 or 2 forage cards.
Yeah, it's a cool design too, because it's not like an Organ Hoarder where it's like, all right, you just cast as many of these possible, and the more you cast, the more you win. Like, these get worse as you play more of them. Yeah, I would give this a Squirrel. I think a Squirrel C+, not quite B-.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there.
Yeah, but it's close.
And just like almost every Squirrel, hitting it off of Cash Grab just makes everything seem so fuzzy.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, obviously, like, or the Cash Grab, the more reaching in even a few cards here makes me think I want to come up to where you were a little bit more than where I landed. Next up, we've got Bark Knuckle Boxer. This is an uncommon now. So, no 1-drops in green and uncommon. 1 and a green for a 3/2 Raccoon Berserker. Whenever you expend 4, the Boxer gains indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah, and the fact that you can expend 4 like at instant speed makes this thing kind of terrifying.
Oh, yeah, just as a good blocker.
Well, also just like when you attack, your opponent going to block it?
Oh, that's
like,
true. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you like win a combat somewhere, and then this gets indestructible, win another one potentially. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And it's just the 2-mana 3/2. Like, that's pretty good. I would give Bark Knuckle Boxer a B.
Yeah, I'm with it. A B, another. We're on loop at this point, but another Raccoon card that doesn't just go in the Raccoon deck.
Bushy Bodyguard. 1 and a green for a 2/1 Squirrel. It's got Offspring for 2 mana. When this creature enters, you can forage, and if you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it.
So if you manage to forage twice with this, you're getting a 4/3 and a 3/3 for 4 mana.
Notably, very rarely will you do that on curve. Never on turn 2, rarely on turn 4.
Well, Cash Grab spots it all by itself.
Does it?
It gives you the cards in the graveyard and the food, so you can forage with both.
It doesn't give you. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, the food. Okay. Yeah, yep. I was just counting cards in the graveyard. I completely forgot about food for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is nuts. Like,
But I'm
no pun intended.
we had a lot of unintentional puns today, which is great. I love that. Yeah. All right. What's your grade?
B plus.
Yeah, I was wondering if you'd go there. I was thinking of going there too. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. B plus for
Okay.
Bushy Bodyguard. Next up, another really good one. Hunter's Talent. This is the green class enchantment. 1 in a green. When it enters, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Level it up for 2 mana to level 2. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Level 4. Level 3, upgrading for 4 mana. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card. Wow.
Yeah, this one doesn't need the question mark at the end. This
Nope.
is at least a B plus.
This card's so good.
It's so good.
the
And
heck?
also, notably, the 3-drop frog returns any is it any permanent or any non-land? Any other permanent. So yeah, you can just
Whoa.
and do it again.
Holy. I'm willing to put this in the A range. I just give Hunter's Talent an A minus.
A minus? Okay, I'll join you.
Great.
We'll do first A minus of the day.
First of the set, yeah. Overprotect is up next. 1 in a green for an instant. Target creature you control gets +3/+3 and gains trample, hexproof, and indestructible till end of turn. Hell of a combat trick.
This is about the best you can ask for not leaving anything behind.
Yep.
Like no counters, no rectangles, but just pure efficiency.
Yeah. You're going to win practically every combat and push damage, and outside of combat, it's a solid protection spell. No, very good. Hexproof too. Sorry. I was just reading Indestructible for a second, but it's a great protection spell.
Yes.
Wow. Does this get to B minus range?
I think so.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, B minus for
efficient.
Protect.
Okay.
We've got Paw Patch Formation. This is 1 in a green for an instant, and you choose one. Either destroy a creature with flying, or destroy an enchantment, or draw a card, make a food.
Yeah, that's a nice twist on the last ability, making it like I think green black main decks this and is pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think green, like any slower green deck, fine with it too. It's not gonna be a high pick or anything, but I think you basically can always play it. I don't think you're gonna be too sad. And there are quite a few flyers in this set too. So where sometimes that flying mode is not as good, I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, 2 of the 10 types are flying based, right?
Yeah. I almost would guess this is just like a fine card. Maybe not an optimal card for like your green white decks that just want to be all their cards are attacking, but I think you could just play this and it wouldn't be the worst. So I'm gonna give Paw Patch Formation a C, maybe a C plus in a Squirrel deck.
I'll give it a Squirrel C.
Okay, that's fair. Peerless Recycling. 1 in a green for an instant. Gift a card as the gift. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If the gift was promised, instead return 2 target permanents from the graveyard to your hand.
Yeah, not so sure about this one.
Because the first mode isn't good. Like 2 mana, buy something back. It's not terror bad, but it's not good. And then that kind of dilemma we talked about with the black card that does this. Well, is my card in the grave better than a random card they have? Maybe, maybe not.
Also,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's not your card in the. It's your second best card in the grave.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Better than their top card because you're already getting the best one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty out on it. I mean, it's like maybe I'm being harsh here, but I would give this like a D. I don't think.
I was gonna go D plus.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly better than that.
The more
I don't think you feel that bad if this makes it into your 23. It's just not a card you want to have.
Right. And of course, the more self mill you have, the better it gets. The more selection and all that. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got.
Notably, though, a lot of the green, like the last couple of cards we've talked about, the uncommons and the commons, the cash grab, and the last one we saw, Paw Patch Formation. A lot of them just hit or return permanents, so you can't stock up on too many of these. Like they have diminishing returns, so are you really going to have space for this if you're already playing cash grabs and paw patch formations, which are like cash grabs the card that mills you, so you're saying it's better in mill, but it's also worse the more mill cards you have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's go to the next one here. Stocking the Pantry. Single green mana for an enchantment. Whenever you put one or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, you put a supply counter on Stocking the Pantry. You can pay 2 and remove a counter from Stocking the Pantry to draw a card.
I think we should give this the set reviewers F.
As in what?
I think you know what I mean with this, but as in maybe it's not quite an F, but not worth trying.
Right.
Like don't get caught up on it. Just it's better if you just ignore this card for the lifetime of the set. And even if you see one screenshot of someone who built a super sweet deck with it, just assume it's not replicable.
Yep. Yep, I agree with that. All right, I'll join you there.
There are a few ways to trigger this, but even if you're triggering it, like it's basically like 2 mana to draw a card is like investigating. So are you gonna pay 1 mana for a couple of investigates? Like, no thanks.
It's also just there's just like not that many +1/+1 counters in this set, right?
Yeah,
Like,
there's a few ways to do it.
sure, a few ways.
Yeah,
but...
there's not a lot. Yeah.
Somebody in chat says it's a G. You're right about that. It is a G. Single tree green mana. 3 tree scribe. 1 and a green for a 2/3 frog. Whenever 3 tree scribe or another creature you control leaves the battlefield without dying, interesting way of phrasing that, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control.
So notably, if they banishing light your creature, this triggers.
That's cute, yeah.
If they play the red 3 mana burn spell that exiles, this triggers.
Uh-huh.
And if you run away together, this triggers, which is
Mhm.
what I'm most excited about, because that's like an instant speed combat trick at that point.
Nice. I'm excited for this rock deck now. I think it could kind of crash and burn, but I hope it's good.
Yeah, I mean, this is already like reasonably statted. 2/3 for 2 mana.
Yeah. So how many times do you assume, on average, you're going to trigger this in a game? Like, twice?
Oh, once or twice. Yeah,
that's good. All right. Yeah, I like 3 tree scribe as a frog C+, maybe a frog B-.
I wrote B-.
Nice. Okay. Wear down. Another gift card here. 1 and a green for a sorcery. Gift a card. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and if it was gifted, you instead destroy 2.
Sideboard?
Yeah, sideboard.
Sideboard, great. Okay.
Brambleguard Veteran up next. 1 green for a 3/4 Raccoon Warrior. Whenever you expend 4 raccoons you control, get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. So finally a card that might not get poached.
It's still just good though, right?
I was gonna say it's still just like poachable, but I think this one's probably people go, oh, it's a raccoon card, I don't take it. At least in the early days of the format.
Right, but like this, you just play a 4-drop pre-combat and attack with like your 4/5 vigilance.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Yeah, I was thinking that. I think I want to give people more credit than that. I think you're totally right. I think people will read this and just go, oh wait, no, this is just a good card. So I rescind my hopefulness of this not getting poached.
Okay. It's another really good card. Like,
yeah.
It's like B-.
I think I would just give it a C+.
C+? Okay, I think it's definitely better than C+. But
Okay.
I'll stick with B- in that case.
We got Clifftop Lookout. 2 and a green for a reach 1/2. It's a frog. When it enters, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Yeah, so no misses. Like often we see top 6 or whatever. This is just keeps going until you hit one.
Is this better or worse than Pond Prophet?
Worse.
Yeah. That's what I think too.
But still, I still like it. I'm still gonna give this like a C+.
Oh wow. I think it's okay. Like 1/2 reach, draw a land.
It's ramp. It's into play.
Oh, I misread this. My bad. Yep. Nope. I'm on board for you, or with you. Yeah.
If it was just
if
it was just like a skittering surveyor that you couldn't choose your land, then I would be much lower on it. But this is directly into play.
Okay, yeah, I'll join a C plus.
And if there's anything your frog deck wants to when it's bouncing creatures and replaying them, it's like extra sources of mana,
Yep,
right?
nope, I totally agree.
Okay.
Totally agree. Next up is Curious Forager. This is 3 mana, 2 and a green for a 3/2 squirrel. When it enters, you may forage. When you do, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Nice.
Yes, please.
Yep. This is one of the better forage payoffs we've seen.
This goes in any green deck, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just any green deck.
Yeah.
Want to give this a B? I think it's really good.
I'll go B minus.
Okay.
I think because you can't really cast it on turn 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Like,
fair.
unless you're really
Okay,
doing
no,
something with
I agree. Let's give it a B minus. Although very good if you cast Catch Grab first. that this is nice. We got Hazard Herbalist, which is 2 and a green for a 1/4 rabbit. Whenever you attack, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If that creature is a token, it gains Death Touch.
Yeah, there's not. So, Offspring, there's only one common and one uncommon, I think, per color.
I think so. Yeah.
And then the commons that make rabbits, there's like the Carrot Cake and the hybrid one. So, like, it's not a ton of tokens because you want to be able to attack with a token every turn with this thing. So, I think this thing's not gonna get there a lot of the time. So maybe it gets like a synergy grade.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, you attack for 3 on turn 3. Like, this immediately has an effect. And then this helps your, like, smaller creatures attack. I have, like, no tokens in your deck at all, which I think is going to be hard. Yeah, not great.
Whatever token you boost, they're just gonna, like, they'll trade with it.
Yeah.
And then it's just a 1/4.
Well, will they, though? Like, they don't really want to trade off their 2/1, your 2/1 token for anything, really. I guess another token of theirs, sure.
Yeah, there's enough small creatures lying around. I don't think it'll be that hard to trade.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not super high on it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Want to give, like, a synergy C?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. Honored Dray Leader is up next. This is 2 and a green for a 1/1 squirrel with trample. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each squirrel and or food you control. And whenever another squirrel or food you control enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yeah, so we said not a bunch of +1/+1 counters, and then we saw like 4 cards in a row.
Of course. Okay. So
this is a nice, like, if you play the black-green uncommon on turn 2, this is entering as a 3/3.
Or the common. There's the green common that just makes a food. 2 mana, 2/2 makes a food. The duo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an even easier way to do it.
Yeah, and it grows. It's backwards compatible. It's not one of those things where it's like, I don't want to play this until I have a bunch of things. You just play it if you have no other way to spend 3 mana. Yeah.
Even if you cash grab into it, it's a 2/2, which isn't great, but then it immediately grows next turn, most likely.
Absolutely a squirrel card. Like, there's no world where you play this and not a squirrel deck. So we're going to give it a grade just based on that. And I think I would give it a...
Like a C+?
Yeah, C+. Like, I think that averages the times when it's just, like, crazy and the times when it's like, okay, this is fine.
Right.
Yep. I like it at C+. All right, what's next?
Next we have Hive Spine Wolverine. 3 green for a 5/4 with no types. When it enters, choose one. Either put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, or it fights target creature token, or destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Nice. Yeah.
I only just the reason I paused there is because I didn't realize that it said token. I thought this was just Agatha's Champion on steroids.
Oh, yeah. I did too, actually, when I first read it. All the modes are good, though. Yeah, I think you're not going to be sad about any of these modes. I think this is a premium card. I think this is probably just a B minus, but I could see this being a B.
Yeah, I think B minus is fair.
Yeah.
Just on the stats.
Also, the art is crazy. It's just this bear that's merged with a beehive and terrorizing all these small animals. It almost feels like it's like in like the wrong set or something. It's a very scary bear. Anyways, yeah, good card. Last card. We're finally there. Gale Wind Moose. This is keyword central. 6 mana for a 6/6 flash. I was going to say flying. It doesn't have flying. Flash, Vigilance, Reach, Trample. So big old Colossal Dreadmaw with 3 more keywords than he usually has.
Yeah, so if your opponent leaves 6 mana open, you basically like can't attack. Like
Yeah.
the warning bell should be flying off. There's a number of flash creatures, like there's the blue 5/5 Eddy Merc Crab or whatever it's called, and so there's a few things that are gonna jump in front of the way. But this one, like if even if you don't attack into this, they just cast it end of turn and then just start smashing your face in.
Yeah, there's no effective way to play around it. I mean, not attacking is that, or having a removal spell, but it's not like you go, haha, I played around it, I got you. They just cast it anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, worth noting with the crab, that one can't block the turn it comes down if you flash it in.
So what do you want to give this to end us off here?
I think just a B-. I think we've been grading these keyword soup cards pretty highly, and I don't think this one gets much of a lower grade.
Yeah, I think B- is fair, and it'll be better the first couple days of the set when you just always eat something with this.
All right, and that's gonna do it. I kind of thought we might get through this one a little bit quicker than usual. Maybe we did, maybe by a few minutes, but it still was a pretty conversation-heavy set, which is good, of course. You know, it's good to have some complexity in there. And I think the thing that's changed in my mind compared to when we first started the set review is just how many secret gold cards there were. I mean, I knew there were a good handful of them, but so many cards we were like, yeah, this is a Squirrel C. This is a Raccoon. Well, we didn't say many raccoons, but this is a Threshold slash mouse or sorry, rat B- or whatever. I don't think that's I think that people looking at the spreadsheet that we put out for this and tier lists are going to be missing something if you're just going off those grades. Same with 17 lands grades or 17 lands numbers. I think there's a lot of thinking to be done about what cards go where. Maybe not even thinking, just reading, because I think a lot of them are a little bit more obvious than not. But I think it's good to have that complexity in there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting designs here. Like the set reads very flavorful, and I'm looking for. There's not a single deck that looks super boring. I think there's going to be some decisions, like how much do you want to focus on the typal, how much do you want to focus on the mechanic, how much do you want to ignore all of that. So I'm looking forward to sinking our teeth into this for the first time, and hopefully I'm wrong about it not having longevity, and it does live up to be a good one for the ages. We'll see.
Yeah, totally agree. And if you're watching here along or listening on Twitch, we're gonna be back here again tomorrow, 5:00, for the rares and the mythics. If you're watching this and you're early on YouTube, that's you can expect to see the video going up around that time tomorrow. And Mark, as always, I'll say thank you for hanging out. It's been a great time. Had a lot of fun. Good to bounce some ideas off of you and have you provide your expert analysis. And I think we'll sign off from there. Any last words?
No, thanks so much for having me, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.